Hello everyone, welcome back to The Current,
the quick response news program from JCTIC College,
where we report on the latest issues, events, and culture. I'm Max.
And I'm Naomi.
In today's episode, we're going to talk about sex.
What? Max, sex education.
Oh yeah, sex education.
Why? Because there's been some recent controversy. Check it out. Play badminton together. That piece of advice on curbing sexual urges was included in the new set of teaching materials released by the Hong Kong education authorities. So, what do young people in the city think?
It's not going to help at all, actually, I think. You're always going to have like a thought in the back of your head, even while you're playing, I guess. Like, oh, you know, like they won't really know how to control it, what to do next time. I can't always go play badminton, like if it happens again.
New teaching guidelines recently issued by the Education Bureau target middle school students. The materials suggest behaviors for a variety of settings, including the promotion of sexual abstinence to avoid the risk of pregnancy and emotional distress. Hong Kong teenagers are also advised to sign a commitment form meant to set limits on intimate behavior.
其實冇乜用喎，咁你簽完你都可以照做㗎，佢又唔係啲咩法律，佢又唔係啲咩法律嘅咩，同埋都唔應該用法律嘅嚟管制啦，所以都係由教育方面、觀念方面去入手咯，係咯。
Some middle schools in Hong Kong already provide limited sex education, but the lessons are not mandatory.
我覺得香港性教育咧好似冇乜點提過咯，即係好輕輕帶過可能科學堂嘅時候
點戴安全套好似冇啦。
They were just doing like the basics. They weren't really going in depth to it, and we kind of just had to learn from online mostly.
The new initiatives have also come under fire from NGOs and activists. To some, the focus on curbing urges is a missed opportunity to teach people how to build and maintain healthy relationships.
When we talk about sexual desires with students, we spend a lot of time to go through why sexual desires actually pops up. And the largest issue or the greatest topic behind that we want to talk with them is about boundaries. Sex education is actually a life education. So it's not only about how to protect yourself during like sexual intercourse, how to prevent STIs. It's also about communication. You learn how to communicate with other people non-violently. You learn to react to rejection. You learn to voice out your opinions properly. You learn to respect others' boundaries.
So the controversy is around the new sex education curriculum.
That's right. Some of its advice has sparked heated debate.
I wonder what some of our teachers, students, and parents think about the new curriculum.
Let's go to our reporter, Isaac, and find out. Isaac?
Thanks. Our first question will be, what are your thoughts on the new curriculum?
The first thing would definitely be the phrase playing badminton together, which is actually an example of a model named Adolescence and Intimate Relationships. The example suggested that teenagers who wanted to have sex with each other could go out to play badminton together instead, which brought up strong reactions in the community, and playing badminton has become code for sex like Netflix and chill. Putting that aside, however, I appreciate an updated curriculum and think it is good to reflect on the need for further development of sex education in Hong Kong.
Sex education is related to values education, enabling students to make informed and responsible decisions. However, the curriculum does not provide in-depth explanations or descriptions of sexual behavior and sexual orientation.
Mr. What's your take on the curriculum?
The criticism of the new curriculum shows how challenging sex education is in secondary schools. On one hand, we have traditional Chinese culture that emphasizes chastity and religions like Christianity that prohibit sex outside marriage, let alone teenage sex. On the other hand, there's also social climate change that casts doubt on marriage and favors a more open attitude towards sex. Therefore, sex education either way will face serious criticism.
How do we promote sex education right now at TE?
Outside of science classes, schools invite the Department of Health and external organizations to conduct workshops or lectures at 5-day functions.
In fact, the Guidance and Student Support Committee, as well as the Student Growth Committee, organize various sex education programs in school, such as talks and in-class activities hosted by external organizations. Topics such as sex and gender, intimate relationships, and some controversial issues like LGBTQ were covered in the previous years.
How do we teach sex education at TE?
The way we do it in our school is that we teach our students the basic knowledge about sex and invite organizations of different backgrounds to talk to them so that they are better informed and make better choices for themselves. We want a dialogue with students, listen to what they say so that they will also listen to us.
Next, let's ask a couple of students. Sky, as the new chairperson of the SU, what do you think about the new sex education curriculum?
Well, obviously, there are a lot of jokes going around, but we do appreciate the effort to update everything. I just think it would have been nice if it had acknowledged more the interest of students and been designed from the students' perspective, and maybe taken into account the topics that students genuinely want to learn about.
How can we do things better at TE?
In addition to what they are doing, I think it would be great to hear more real-life cases. Sexual desire is normal, but we need better information on how to manage it than to just distract ourselves somehow. Like, it'd be great to learn how we can protect ourselves, like girls from aggressive boys, and how boys need to be more respectful of girls and not make silly, stupid mistakes.
As a Form 6 student, what do you think, Hester?
To be honest, I don't think the school has done much formal sex education, at least since the year I entered. But I do remember in Form 3, our bio teacher taught some basics, like the reproductive organs, how babies are made, and the legal age for girls having babies. I think that was quite enough for Form 3 students, as when we get older, we can get more information about sex education through the internet.
What could school do better?
I think school can invite more people to give talks to junior Form students during lessons or at Friday functions.
They say they do that already.
Oh good, I must have missed those.
We also got to talk with some parents. Hi, what do you think about the new sex education curriculum?
I think it is pretty necessary and useful for our children. It helps to promote good values and develops students' proper attitudes towards sex education.
I think it's also very important for students to learn about sex from their parents, not just from school.
To be frank, I think it's a little bit out of touch. I'm just wondering how the students gonna interpret it. Students these days are smart and wise enough to know what they are learning.
I think the new curriculum can be enhanced by focusing on core elements.
Do you think it's appropriate to teach sex education in secondary school?
Definitely yes, and it should include other aspects too, like personal growth, hygiene and puberty, making friends, dating, marriage, sexual harassment, etc.
Yes, definitely. Nowadays, teenagers are exposed to sexual things much earlier than my days. They need to understand and learn from someone or somewhere. It's good they can be educated by both the parents and the school.
Modern secondary school students are relatively mature, so they should receive sex education courses earlier.
Yes, teaching sex education is very important at this stage. It's crucial for equipping students with proper knowledge to make healthy choices about relationships and sex.
Finally, what would you like to add about sex education at TE?
I would like to ask students the same question. What would you like to know or learn about in sex education? For me, I think that it is crucial to develop positive attitudes and values, especially towards intimate relationships. But the most important thing is to show respect. We all need to have a solid understanding of each other's boundaries and avoid playing practical jokes or neglect others' individual will. That is always rude and irresponsible.
Any special message to students?
It is important to understand that sex is healthy and normal, not something to be ashamed of.
Listen well and make wise choices.
What great responses! Yes, we didn't talk about sex per se, sorry about that. This whole episode is about how we talk and learn about sex.
Exactly. There are many perspectives on how schools should conduct sex education. They won't be able to please everybody.
As students, we can only do our best to learn what we can while we're still here.
And listen carefully in the classes where they teach about sex. And listen attentively at special assemblies.
And always be ready to ask questions, because if you have a question, there are definitely many other students who have the exact same one.
Well, that's it for this episode of The Current.
Thanks for watching and see you next time.